Hey, yeah, it is quite late. What are you still doing up? Okay, whatever. So, what's up? What do you want to talk? You want to talk, like, about something in particular, or just talk? You want me to talk? I assume this couldn't have waited for the morning. Hmm. Okay, well, at least give me a topic to talk about, If all you want from me is to ramble, then you could at least give me something to ramble about. What is that supposed to mean? I'm in my youth. I'm not that old. It's okay, I know what you meant. Okay, well, let me think for a minute. Contrary to what you think, I am still young. My stories are quite far. No, that's not how that saying goes. Quite few and far in between. Um, how about some house party stories? Nah, one's a place drinking. Okay. I could tell some stories from hikes and camps I went on back when I was a Boy Scout. Okay, cool. Let me think of a few. Well, one immediately comes to mind, but it's a bit long. Of course, you're fine with that. Okay. Let me just compose my thoughts real quick and just try and come up with like a lot. It's so late. Oh my god. Let me just put it all in order and try and get it to sound good. I guess. Um. Okay. Um. I will. Okay, so let me tell you about this really long hike that used to happen every second year. It alternated between a training course one year and then this hike the next. The hike was hosted on a mountain range on the other side of the country and was quite expensive, so only a few people from my scout group could go. Uh, and those who went held fundraisers to be able to go. Um, anyway, due to the fact that only a few people from my group got to go, the majority of the people in the group, the hiking group, were people we didn't know or we hadn't met before. I think there were 8 of us in total, if I recall correctly. 3 guys, which was us, and 5 girls. Oh, and our emergency guide. He was just there in case we got like properly lost. Um, like we, for the most part, do all the navigation, and then he would just like nudge us in the right direction if we were getting too off course. Like he'd let us get a little off course. Um, but this wasn't just like a hike from point A to point B. It had stuff in between. It had bases. You still there? Okay. Um, so yeah, it wasn't just like a point A to point B thing. It had bases in between. For example, there was a water base, which was a really chilled base. It's an example of a really chilled base. We, for the most part, just sat around and drank cocktails or fake cocktails. We were quite young at the time. And that was the majority of it. Like there was some activities planned. For example, there was skiing. There was some skiing, and then there was also some parasailing. I think that's what yeah, parasailing, which was pretty cool. Like that was a lot of fun. A little nerve wracking, I'll admit, but it was fun. Uh, there was also there was also this cocktail naming competition where they gave us not a mystery cocktail. They gave us a cocktail and said whoever came up with the best name would win. And it just so happened that my friend and I we won. However, I don't think we won because we had a really amazing name. Yeah, I think we won because of how stupid our name was. So anyway, you want to know the, of course you want to know the name. Why didn't I think you would want to know the name? So the name for this amazing drink, or this amazing name for this drink, was lesbian lemonade. That was the name we came up with, and that was what it won. So for the rest of, because we got water base first, there were a bunch of patrols, and we all did it on different rotations. So we got water base first, so all the patrols after us all drank our drink called lesbian lemonade, and that was fun. Anyway, um, that base was really chill. We played games at night, like planned games at night, and then during the day we just chilled and messed around. But then there were some also fun but less chill bases. For example, the paintball base where we played paintball. That's about it. I don't know what else to tell you. But there were also some less chill bases and more challenging, like the oh my god, I'm tired. The backwoodsman base, where we had to cook an entire meal on an open flame with no cutlery or crockery or anything, just our hands, stones, and some branches. But we actually never did that base properly. Like they just gave us tools because we were half a day behind. I'm not entirely sure how many groups attended, but we were number 21, and we weren't ever supposed to see group 20, the group behind us. However, we always saw them when leaving our current base because of how late we were. Now, the reason for being so late the reason for being so late was because on the first day it was reaching record temperatures around 105, 106, and so one of our members passed out, and was another one of our members was on the verge of passing out. Remember, we were hiking. At this point we'd been hiking for ages and carrying around bags that were like 70, 80 pounds. So like we were pretty drained. Also out in the scorching sun, just on the side of a mountain with no shade. Like the nearest shade, which we eventually went and sat under, was over a fence, and then like a good little walk to a bunch of shrubs. that was a shade. But we had to stop after she had passed out. We had to stop for almost the entire day, just sitting there with her, making sure she was okay. Eventually some drivers that were driving the trail drove past with half a bottle of ice cold water, which, oh my god, that half a bottle of ice cold water was the best thing. Because something that happened a lot when we were hiking is your water was always hot. Like, it was obviously not boiling, but it was never fun to drink. It was just hot, and hot water is horrible. Um, and also I forgot my water. So I was like, okay, I'll just buy a few bottles of water before we get started. So I went to this store and I bought 2 1 liter bottles, and I was gonna fill them up as I drank them, and then I opened the bottle, and it hissed. And it turns out I'd bought 2 liters of sparkling water, which was not great. Sparkling water on its own, if you like sparkling water, then sure, whatever. But I really do not like sparkling water, and I also really do not like hot sparkling water. But anyway, that sucked. And so that half a bottle of water we shared out and drank, and took really long to drink because it was so good. Anyway, after we had started hiking again over the next few days, we were able to catch up a bit. We were still a fair bit behind, but we did catch up. We caught up by just hiking a lot, like a lot. Like, we'd start hiking before the sun was up, and then only stopped when we couldn't go anymore, which was usually early in the morning of the next day. One particular hiking session, we hiked for like over 18 hours or something like that, which was a little bit more than we usually hike. but we were so close to the location, we decided to just push forward, and finally, after arriving, we all just popped some painkillers and passed out till the next morning. Um, uh, oh yeah, if I remember correctly, we woke up super late, like very late, and we're just super happy that we could sleep in. And and then like one of us pulled out our phones and switched it on, and saw that it was 7:30. It was 7:30 in the morning, and we'd felt like we had slept the entire day. It was quite an amazing feel. We got to chill there for a little bit, just hanging out till about 1 p.m., which is around about the time we were leaving, and that's the time when the other group arrived. That's also actually the place that the big bad thing that ended the entire hike for all of the groups, hundreds of people. It got cut off early, and that's the place where it happened. And the group that had just arrived there, they were the ones that caused it. but yeah, that's a story for another time when you're not on the verge of sleep. If you're not asleep already, okay, you're not asleep. Okay, I'll do one more story about the hike. Okay. I'll tell you the most frustrating and annoying part of the entire hike, or story, I guess. But it's okay. So there was this girl in our group. I'll call her Lucy for the sake of the story. So Lucy was a little slow. If I remember correctly, she did have some mental problems. So we were all told to be a little patient with her, and we were all up until this point. Now, everything she did was fine. Like, she hiked a little slow, which was fine. We didn't really care. The odd stuff she'd say also fine. We just kept hiking, and she, wasn't bad. Really wasn't bad to just hang out with. And we were fine with her. Like, we weren't getting frustrated or annoyed or anything until this point. This this is where it all went downhill. So after one particularly long hiking session, I don't remember the exact distance we went, but it was late. We were tired. We were sore. We did not want to hike anymore. We actually found this really nice place. It was like a very big dip in the terrain, and it had trees around the top of it, so it was like fairly sheltered from the wind, and it was a really, really nice spot. And that's where we were going to sleep for the night. So we took off our bags. Some of us took off our bags and then collapsed. Others just collapsed onto their bags, and and then we started unpacking our sleeping gear, like our sleeping bag and our ground mat, so that we didn't have to sleep directly on the ground. And then this is the point where we hear some water drop, and we were like, okay, this is fine. Someone just dropped their water bottle, whatever. This is the point I turned around and saw Lucy. A couple of us turned around and saw Lucy just standing in the middle of this fairly small area. Like, it wasn't very large, in a puddle of water. And so we were like, okay, did her water bottle break, or and then she spoke, and she said, sorry guys, I couldn't hold it. And yep, she peed right in the middle of the campsite. She didn't move, she didn't squat down or anything, she just let rip right there. Oh my god, I don't remember exactly what we did after that, but I do remember being pretty pissed, and that we had to move because the smell was just something else. That that wasn't even the end of the trouble with her. Something happened that morning after we'd all woken up as well. But you haven't said anything in a little bit, and I think you might have fallen asleep. Yeah, you've definitely passed out. Okay. I guess it's my turn to try and sleep now. It's gonna be annoying. Anyway, good night, love. I hope you're sleeping well. And I love you.